Okay, ladies and gentlemen, gonna be keeping this video short and simple. So the best SMG, we all know this is gonna be the Vaznev 9K. For the overall best setup, most people are gonna be running a knife as their secondary. Unless you are playing on hydroelectric, then you do want to use a pistol, which I'll give you guys the pistol class a little bit later into the video. For the tactical, I'm always gonna be running the stun. If I'm playing respawn, I have the 7-tex. In the search and destroy, I'll run the frag grenade. And then for the perks, you usually run the same things. You got the double time bomb squad fast hands. Sometimes I will take off the double time to run battle harden if I'm just going to be sitting in the heal. And then for the field upgrades, if I am running a submachine gun, I'm going to be running the dead sounds. Say I got an AR, I'm going to be running the trophy system so I can prop up and hold my lanes. And then for the Vaznev class, yo, do you want these beautiful mastery camos or that heated madness, maybe the galvanic, or if you want your account ranked up to iridescent, well, you should definitely check out Guapsi. Guapsi is a company that will play the game for you, and they'll get any camo or any skin that you want. Go check them out, link in the description. This is a very popular one that we've been using for a lot of months, and so if you are a subscriber to the channel, you probably have already seen this. But for the muzzle, we got the flash hider, which this muzzle is going to be the best muzzle if you want to maximize that recoil control and still have a lot of mobility. Previously, we used to run the Bruin pendulum, but then we found out that the spiral flash hider does the same thing. Actually, I think it gives you a little bit more recoil control, and you're going to have a faster ADS. For the underbarrel, if you are a little bit newer to the game, you might want to run the commando foregrip. This is going to give you a little bit more recoil control, although it is going to hurt the ADS speed a little bit, and so that's why I'm going to be running the shark fin 90. And then say you're like a beginner player, like if you're a bronze, then you might want to run the edge 47, and then once you get good with the edge, you try out the commando, and then try to work your way down to the shark fin 90. For this next attachment, increase the overall sprint fire speed, throw on the true tag grip, which this is going to bring down the recoil control a little bit, but overall this gun really doesn't have any recoil, so you shouldn't notice that. And then lastly, for the stock, go ahead and throw on the Ultrazat stock. This is going to increase that sprint speed, so now you can run around the map a little bit quicker, plus your stray speed will be a lot quicker, which that stray speed is a very important thing because this is going to make it so you get that rotational aim assist, and then you are going to be a harder target hit. And so whenever you're strafing, it is a lot easier to hit your target. Always do this in your gunfights, which one thing with the Vaznev, if you don't hit the upper chest, or if you're not within 10 meters of the enemy, then it is going to feel like a pea shooter, which in that case, if you aren't that good, you might want to try out adding a barrel. This is going to be the cost barrel, which this is actually going to make it so you can compete with the TAC 56 players up to medium range. It's just this brings down the mobility a lot, so I personally don't really like it, but you might really like it, so I do recommend you guys to really try it out. It makes the weapon so much stronger. It's just the gun's going to be a little bit slower, which if you guys do want a screenshot of the class, here you guys go. The next weapon I want to go over, this is going to be the Lochmann 556, and the reason I want you guys to try out this gun is because the TAC 56 actually just got a nerf, which honestly the nerf wasn't even that strong, and so the TAC I still believe is going to be the meta weapon. But this Lochmann 556, this thing is so underrated. I believe it's actually maybe the best AR in Warzone right now, and so you guys should really check out this class in rank play. You'll probably pop off. So for the overall class, there is a few different ones, but to keep this simple, we are just going to be going over my personal favorite. So for the barrel, we are going to be running the Lochmann Nova barrel, which this is going to completely eliminate all the recoil, and it's going to add a lot of damage range to where you can basically compete at any range of the map or any parts of the map, which we are going to be losing a lot of our mobility, but that's why we are using some other attachments to bring that value back up. And then because there's basically zero horizontal recoil in the weapon, we are going to be going over to the muzzle, and you want to throw in the X10 portal, which is just going to squash down that vertical, making the gun a lot easier to use at range. And then for the ammo, just to make the weapon have a little bit better hit registration, go ahead and throw in the high velocity rounds. And then to bring up the mobility that we are losing with the barrel and the muzzle, go ahead and throw on the LMK 64 grip. And then same reasons go for the stock. We got the mobile stock on here just so we can crouch walk a little bit quicker, which honestly doesn't matter unless you're playing search and destroy, but the main reason I'm running this is for that sprint speed and the ADS speed. And so now the weapon actually has a lot of mobility, it's also having a lot of recoil control and a lot of damage range. And then we got the same build as before. If I'm playing search, I always got the dead silence, and then if I'm playing respawn, I got the trophy system. And then if you want the screenshot of the class, here you guys go. And for those that like to have the tunes, I'm not going to be tuning any of the ones in this video just because that would take forever and you can't really tune in ranked. This next weapon I wanted to go over, this is going to be the Vel 46, which the Vel 46 46 is actually one of the best SMGs to be using in ranked play. A lot of people do use the Vaznev, but the Vel is so underrated because with the Vel, you actually can run around the map a little bit quicker. So if you do need to get those rotations, the Vel is a way better option to be running than your Vaznev. It's just the Vaznev is a little bit more consistent, which is why more people run it. But this Vel, you gotta try it out. This thing is so fun to use. This is actually my favorite gun in the entire game, paired up with the M4. So the class I'm rocking on this, I got two different classes for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned for both of them. It's actually very important. So this first one, this one is going to be a little bit harder to use. This is kind of like the Vaznev without a barrel. You have to be very good at getting in the enemy's face and rotating around the map correctly to be using this because there isn't that much damage range. The second build I'm going to be giving you has a barrel, which has a little bit more damage range. But for this one, we are running the Spiral Flash Hider just to bring up that recoil control. This is going to make the weapon a lot easier to use, which is why we are also running the Edge 47. Although, if you are running this and you're like, damn, I'm pretty good at this game, I don't need that much recoil control, then I would add the Commando foregrip. I wouldn't add the Shark Fin. I would stick between the Commando and the Edge just so you can be a little bit more consistent. For me, even though, you know, I play against those top 250 in the iridescent players, I'm still going to be running the Edge 47 just so I'm a little bit more consistent. This next attachment, you guys want to throw on the 30 round mag. This is very, very important. This is going to make it so you can get so many pros on your weapon with only losing a little bit of your ammo. At first, it's going to be a little bit weird to use the gun, but once you get used to the 30 rounds, you'll see how broken this weapon is with the 30 round mag. For the rear grip, to bring up the mobility that we are losing with these two attachments, go over to the rear grip and throw on the Skalager Soldier grip, which this is going to bring down that recoil control, but we already get so much recoil control, you're not going to really notice it that much. And then for the last attachment, you guys want to go over to the stock and throw on the demo, which this is going to just basically boost up the mobility on the weapon with bringing down the recoil control. But like you guys saw in that firing range, I was beaming them. It doesn't really impact you that much. For the other class, I want to show you guys, this one is going to have a barrel on the gun, and it seems like it's going to have a little bit less recoil control, but this stock, we are going to be, oh, this one should be on the assault. So the assault adds so much recoil control to where you don't need an underbarrel or a muzzle on the weapon, but this is bringing down the mobility, which is why I like the other build, just because it's a little bit higher on the mobility side of things. This setup is going to be very, very easy to use. Since we are losing some mobility with the barrel, you want to use the soldier grip to bring that back up. Since there is a lot of sway on this class, you guys want to go ahead and throw on the Bruin Sync Shot grip. This is a very underrated under barrel. This adds a lot of aim and auto stability, removing all the sway on the weapon and basically having no cons. And then for the barrel, you guys want to throw on the Tango barrel, which this is going to add so much damage range to the weapon, making it very easy to use up to medium range. It's just, I still don't really recommend using up to medium range. It's just you have the option to basically. This is like the Vaznev with the barrel. That first setup is like the Vaznev without a barrel. And then if you guys do want a screenshot of both the classes, here is the ranged one. And then here is the more high mobility setup, which is my personal favorite. For the next gun, we are going to be going over, it was going to be the attack, but let's go over a sniper build real quick. Even if you aren't a sniper, I still recommend you guys to have a sniper build because the snipers are actually pretty overpowered in rank play. So if you can use them right and hit at least some of your shots, you can actually set your team so much farther in the match, usually just on search and destroy. Since with a sniper, you know, you kind of need a secondary, we are going to be running the X12 pistol, which this is the class I recommend. For the muzzle, we got the Hole Punch Breacher, which this is just going to make it so if you get close to the enemy, you actually can one hit them, which this is bringing down the ADS, but you're not going to notice that whatsoever. For the barrel, we are going to be running the XRK just so we have a little bit more mobility. There really isn't any recoil on the weapon, so those cons aren't going to matter. And then so we can fire the pistol as fast as possible, you want to use the lightning fire trigger. For the rear grip, so we can swap to the pistol a lot quicker, make sure you throw on the Cronin Lima 6. This is going to make it so you can just swap to your pistol and you can fire your pistol way quicker. And then you don't really need an optic, but for me, I really like to run the Cronin Mini Pro. That's just a clean blue dot sight, but you don't really need that sight at all. And so this is the pistol class I actually use when I'm playing on Hydro and I'm using like say I'm just using the Vaznev with attack on Hydro. Because you're underwater, you got to use your pistol. So this is the pistol class I'm usually going to be using. And then for the sniper class, I recommend using the MCPR or the SPX80. More people run the SPX80. For me, I've been finding myself doing a lot better with the MCPR, which the class I'm going to be running is just a class to maximize the aim and auto stability and the ADS speed, because this weapon's already going to one-shot no matter what. So for the optic, because I prefer to use the SPX optic, I recommend you guys to throw on the SPX scope. And then for the stock, you guys want to throw on the Merc perk stock, which this is gonna make it so you can ADS a little bit quicker, and then you're gonna be able to sprint around the map a little bit quicker as well. For the rear grip, we are gonna be running the cheetah grip for the same reasons, just so we can ADS a lot quicker. For the bolt, we are running the Cronin smooth bolt, so if we do need to pop off that second shot off, we can do so a little bit quicker. And then on the MCPR, one thing that's pretty cool is that you can throw in a 5-round mag, which will bring down the ammo size, but you are going to be able to have so much more mobility, allowing you to pop shots off a lot quicker when you need to. And so overall, this is going to be my favorite sniper build. If you want to run the SPX, basically build it the same way, just max out the mobility, just don't add anything that's going to bring down the damage range. You never want to do that. And then one thing with the SPX, since the SPX comes with this scope, you actually don't need to throw on that scope. It's just the MCPR, I don't get as many hit markers, and so I've been really liking that one. Oh, and then if you guys do want a screenshot of the pistol class and the sniper class, here you guys go. This next weapon we are going to be going over is the AR that everybody uses in ranked play. So you want to use the TAC 56, which I do recommend to have a dead silent class and a trophy system class, just so you can swap between the two a lot quicker. Typically, if I'm running the dead silence class, I'm going to be playing search and destroy, and so that's why I got the frag grenade on here. For the class, this is going to be my favorite one at the moment. The muzzle, you want to throw in the Colossus Flash Hider. This is a brand new muzzle, or well, not brand new. The muzzle's been in the game for a while, but recently a lot of players have been running it, and this is just because it adds so much recoil control without hurting the mobility that much. This one basically reminds me of the Spiral Flash Hider on the Vaznev, and then we are going to be running a barrel. Although if you are playing on like Mercado, you don't really need a barrel. You actually only need a barrel on the TAC if you're playing on El Asilo and Embassy, because those maps are so big. For the other maps, you really don't need a barrel because you don't need that much damage range, and the mobility that you're getting without a barrel is going to help you way more. Although I just, usually will run a barrel just so I can have very consistent long range engagements. And then just to improve the hit registration on the game, you want to add the high velocity rounds, which you guys are going to be a little bit confused. 99% of the time I'm going to be running an under barrel, but for some reason when I add the Colossus Flash Hider, even though it brings down the aim and idle stability, I found myself doing way better without a under barrel. Sometimes though, if I want more recoil control and I don't mind having a little bit less like ADS speed and sprint to fire speed, I will take off this clean shot grip, and then I will add the Shark Fin 90. Clean shot grip is going to add a little bit mobility, allowing you to rush a little bit more. Makes the weapon feel a lot better since these two bring down the mobility a decent amount. And then lastly, for the stock, you guys got two different options. If you are using the gun and you're like, damn, this ADS speed is way too slow, then I would throw in the X-Line Pro. I just don't like it because it's going to hurt the recoil control. Plus, this isn't going to give you strafe speed, which the Cardinal gives you a lot of aim walking speed, which is your strafe speed. And then you get some sprint speed so you can run around the map a lot quicker. And just overall, this is my favorite build in the game right now. This thing is so freaking easy to use. You don't really need the high velocity, so if you want, you can add the Shark Fin 90 in replace of the high velocity. It's just the high velocity is going to improve the hit registration, basically making it feel like you're playing on a better ping, which is the reason I usually run the high velocity on like most of my builds. And just keep in mind, you can take off this barrel if you're playing on a smaller map. And with all that said, that is going to basically wrap it up for this video. I do want to give you guys one more underrated class. This is going to be the Bass P. A lot of people don't like the Bass P, but this gun actually kills very, very quick. It's gotten a couple buffs in the most recent updates, and so now this is one of the meta weapons. One thing that would actually make it a like a meta weapon that everyone would probably run is if for the magazine, if you could throw in a 30-round mag, then they made the base ammo count like 40, and so basically this would reduce the ammo count down to 30, and then you get all these pros. But since you only have 20 rounds, you can't really run this magazine. You always run out of ammo, but these pros would make the weapon feel so much better. Overall though, this is a pretty good class. You got the Spiral Flash Hider for that recoil control, for a little bit more recoil control, and to remove all that idle sway. Throw on the phase 3 grip. You're not going to be running a magazine. If you want, you can throw in a barrel. This is going to increase the damage range a lot. The barrel I recommend is going to be the Bruin. Just keep in mind the ADS speed is going to be pretty slow, so you might want to take off the underbarrel and add the Shark Fin 90 if you are running a barrel. For me, I usually don't like to run a barrel. For the stock, we are running the Bruin Flash V4 just to boost up the overall feel of the weapon. Yes, it is bringing down the recoil control well, but trust me, you can beam with this gun. And then for the same reasons, we got the Bruin Flash Grip. And so now this weapon's gonna have a lot of mobility and not that much recoil. Very underrated gun. And if you guys do want the screenshot of this class, here you guys go. And quickly, I'm just gonna show you guys some other very cool meta weapons. If you have found this video helpful in any way, a like is appreciated. And if you want to get better at the game, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. This Lochmann class is so fun to use. I recommend you guys to try that one out. And then lastly, we got the PDSW. This thing is so fun to use. I don't use it that much, but it is pretty fun to use. And that's gonna wrap it up. So I hope this was helpful, and deuces.